Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS. I welcome you all to the daily quiz for today. Before we begin with the question, an important reminder. As you know, BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS is now on Telegram. You can join the channel by clicking on the link given in the description of the video. If you're a part of this channel, you'll get all the latest current affair updates from the side of the BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS team. Now let's begin with question number 1 on your screen. Consider the following statement with regards to this lumpy skin disease. Number 1. It is a bacterial disease of domestic cattle, water buffaloes, and some wild ruminants. Second, vaccination against this disease is covered under the Livestock Health and Disease Control Program of India. Third, the lumpy skin disease was first seen as an epidemic in Zambia in 1929. Which of these given statements is or are correct? If you look at the statements one by one, the first statement is wrong because it is not a bacterial disease. It is actually a viral disease. Yes, it affects the domestic cattle, water buffaloes, and so on, but it is not a bacterial disease. So, first statement is wrong. Second statement, vaccination against the disease is indeed a part of the Livestock Health Disease Control Program. And the third statement is also correct. The lumpy skin disease was first seen as an epidemic in Zambia. So, the correct answer here would be B. That is, only two statements are correct. The reason why we are asking this question is that an indigenous vaccine against the lumpy skin disease will be hitting the market very soon as per the Indian Council of Agricultural Research. As you know, this disease impacts a lot of cattle in India, which are a source of livelihood to lakhs and crores of farmers across the country. Also, this infographic will give you a lot of details about this disease. As I said, it is a viral disease and not a bacterial disease. Although the mortality rate under this disease is not very high, but it still impacts the livelihood because when the cattle suffer from this particular disease, they stop eating, and since they stop eating, their milk production also declines considerably. Next, question number 2. Consider the following statements with respect to the languages in India. Number 1. The last language to be given the status of classical language in India was Odia. Second, Hindi was originally supposed to be the official language of the Union only for 15 years after the commencement of the Constitution. Third, 8th schedule of the Indian Constitution lists a total of 22 languages. Which of these given statements is or are correct? For this question, the answer will be C. 1 and 3 are correct. The first is correct. As you know, there are 6 classical languages in India so far. That is Sanskrit, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam, Odia. Odia was the last one to be given the status in 2014. The second statement is wrong. It is actually about English. As you know, Hindi and English are the official language of the Union. English was only supposed to be the official language for 15 years, but it has been continued since then. The third statement is correct. The 8th schedule contains a list of 22 languages in total. So the correct answer would be C. 1 and 3 are correct. The reason why we are asking this question is because the Supreme Court refused to entertain a plea that was asking the court to make Sanskrit the national language of the country. The court said that this kind of petition is only filed for the sake of publicity and does not have any other matter that the Supreme Court has to hear. The petitioner's lawyer said that Sanskrit is a mother language from which other languages have taken inspiration, and that is why it deserves the national language status. Next, question number 3. Consider the following statement with regards to a community. Number 1. They are predominantly Buddhists. Number 2. They fled the erstwhile East Pakistan in 1964-65 and came to India and settled in Arunachal Pradesh. Third, they lost their land to a development of the Kaptai Dam on the Karnafuli River in Bangladesh. Which of these following communities is being defined here? The Chakmas, the Hajongs, the Brus, or the Konyaks? The correct answer here is the Chakmas. Now, the confusion usually in these kind of questions would be regarding Chakmas or the Hajongs because both of these reside in Arunachal Pradesh. For both of them, first and second statements would be true. The first statement is true only about the Chakmas because the Hajongs mostly are Muslims while the Chakmas are Buddhist predominantly. That is why the correct answer is Chakmas. The reason why we're discussing this question is because the Chakma group had approached the National Human Rights Commission recently because they have been impacted widely because of the ongoing onshore oil and gas exploration and drilling projects. Under this particular petition, the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas has assured the NHRC that they will not exploit any of the people and they will give fair compensation to those who have been impacted through this. This fair compensation will be given under the Land Acquisition, Rehabilitation and Resettlement Act of 2013. Next, question number 4. Quad has the highest number of common members with which of the following groups? SCO, ASEAN, G7 or the UNSC permanent members? Let's see these options one by one. If you look at the SCO, the only common member with Quad it has is India. ASEAN, no common member of ASEAN and Quad. G7, US is a common member, so is Japan. US and Japan are members in the Quad also and they are members in G7 as well. UNSC permanent membership, only US. As you know, Quad consists of US, India, Japan and Australia. In this context, the answer to this question would be G7. G7 is the only group which has two common members while the others do not have that. So the answer here would be C. The reason why we're asking this question is because India is all set to host the Quad senior officials meeting next week. This is ahead of the Prime Minister's visit to the SCO summit along with Russia and China. Next is a previous year question from 2018. When the alarm of your smartphone rings in the morning, you wake up and tap it to stop the alarm, which causes your geyser to be switched on automatically. Your smart mirror in the bathroom shows a day's weather and also indicates the level of water in your overhead tank. After you take some groceries from your refrigerator for making breakfast, it recognizes the shortage of stock and places an order for the supply of fresh grocery items. When you step out of your house and lock the door, all the lights, geyser, fans, AC get switched off automatically. On your way to office, your car warns you about the traffic congestion and suggests an alternative route. And if you're late for a meeting, it sends a message to your office accordingly. Which of the following technology is defined in this paragraph? Is it the border gateway patrol? Is it the Internet of Things? Is it the IP Internet Protocol? Or is it the virtual private network? The correct answer here is B. This is what Internet of Things is all about. In simple terms, Internet of Things is a technology where the machines will be able to communicate with one another rather than you having to set or program every machine individually. If you program even one of them, if you have put your alarm on the phone, it is your phone's responsibility to communicate with the other devices for you on your behalf. But for that to happen, we need ultra fast internet connection with as little latency as possible. And this is where 5G becomes important. Latency means the delay between signals being transmitted to the signals being received. For these kind of things to happen, there has to be absolutely no latency whatsoever. Internet of Things will have a lot of different applications, but for all of that, we require super fast and reliable internet connections. Next, we have a fact of the day, and today we'll be discussing an Indian Express article that talks about India's vaccination success story. Now, this is not just about the COVID-19 vaccination. This says that India's success in immunization of its people for various diseases has been a lesson for the entire world. If you look at India's universal immunization program that provides vaccine against 11 diseases, all those programs have been extremely successful. The target of close to 2.7 crore newborns each year and 2.9 crore pregnant women every year is actually being achieved. From polio vaccination to COVID-19, India has been extremely successful in covering most of its population. Now, what are the reasons behind it? The authors here say that number one, since independence, India has built its biomedical enterprise with respect to research and development. There has been great public-private partnerships that have helped to bolster this particular development. Production of COVID-19 vaccine at a rate that was required by India is a prime example of that. Not just this, India over the years has also built a very robust delivery mechanism, including the cold chain systems that are required to preserve the vaccine and give it a longer life. Also, a lot of health cadre workers have been trained for the last mile services. As you know, a lot of these vaccines, such as the polio vaccines, are given by people going home to home to ensure that everyone is covered. India has today become the largest producer of vaccine in the world, which means that India can actually produce vaccine at very low cost, which can help us immunize a lot of people, not just in India but around the world. Not just this, the infrastructural developments have also been accompanied by a change in the behavior. As you see, when the COVID-19 vaccine came up, mean most of the educated developed nations, a lot of people still have not got the vaccine because they have misconceptions with regards to the vaccine. That is not the case in India. In India, you would hardly find anyone saying that no, I don't want the vaccine because I don't trust the technology. So we have done a great job in ensuring that people don't believe in any miscommunication or people don't believe in any rumors. The awareness campaigns for polio and other kind of vaccines has also been entirely across the country with a lot of influential people involved in this. National leaders, celebrities, etc., have spread messages through mass media to bring the vaccination closer to the people, which has held in the long run. All these things have made sure that India's vaccination rate of various diseases, despite being a country having such high population, is one of the best in the world, which has been supported by Made in India cheap vaccines as well. This is it for today's daily quiz video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day ahead.